भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो 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 भगवते वासुदेवाय।
देवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Namaste. Good afternoon. How are you? Page number 15. Please repeat after me. स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. O Ramakrishna, founder of Religion Universal and the embodiment of all world religions, to thee, the noblest of divine incarnation, I offer my salutation. Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayoh Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Taking shelter at the feet of Sharada, the Universal Mother, and Ramakrishna, the teacher of the world, I salute them again and again. Next page. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukhasvarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Salutations to that King of renouncers and controller of passions, the sage Vivekananda, who is Satchidananda itself, the spiritual preceptor, the remover of distress. Page number 80. I will read out, please listen. Second paragraph. Here one spelling mistake. And the power R is there, power of. Reserve unto yourself the power of detaching yourself from everything. However, beloved, however much the soul might yearn for it, however great the pangs of misery you feel if you are going to leave it, still reserve the power of leaving it whenever you want. Okay? What Swami is saying? To detach from something, we need some strength, some effort. Isn't it? That kind of power we have to reserve with us. Our ancient kings displayed this, especially Parikshit and Katvanga. They were very great kings in our history. Not history, in our Puranas. They came to know when they are going to detach from this world and going to another loka. And beforehand, they came to know. Parikshit came to know about it before 7 days. Katvanga only one muhurta kala, 40 minutes, that's all. So they detached from everything. They renounced everything, kingdom and everything. Family, kingdom and responsibilities. And they devoted the short period of time for the highest purpose of life, and they became successful in spiritual life, in attaining their purpose, fulfillment of their life. Thus, not only that, our ancestors also, several kings followed that voluntarily. One may be a king who is ruling all over the earth. When we read our scriptures, Bhagavata like that, we'll see several Chakravartis, emperors. They ruled all the kingdom. Not only that, they helped the devas, gods, in fighting against demons. And those kings, even though they were ruling all the world, all the earth, yet at the flag end of life, they were used to detach, they were used to retire from this material world, and they could easily detach from everything, from responsibilities, people, and under several upadhis, means several positions or several names and fames like that. Here, Swami is telling about that kind of power we have to reserve, because the modern man is very much entangled in the worldly life. One cannot pass 5 minutes or 10 minutes without looking at their mobile. So much attachment. Some people cannot live without their wristwatch. Of course, it may be a good thing up to some extent, because we can, that shows that our time sense is there like that. But here, when we move from one work to another work, the mind has two functions. One is, it has to concentrate on the second work. The second thing is, it has to be detached from the previous work, and for that, the mind has to be restrained between these two functions. So, the senses and the mind, earlier also we have discussed, the object of study is our own mind. So, in training our mind, in perfecting this instrument, lies the supremacy of human being. Because another animals or birds and the other living beings have not endowed with that kind of mental powers that human being is endowed. That's why there is more responsibility on us, and it is our greatest blessing, greatest boon for us, because we can think about this life, previous life, and future. The animals or birds and other livings cannot do. Their minds goes to up to some extent and they stop. And here, in the process of detachment, several things we love a lot, isn't it? Very hard to detach from there. When Champions Trophy was going on, isn't it? We have seen only 15 overs, and again we have to run for the class. It was a final, India-New Zealand match. We are coming on the bike, but what we see? Cars or bikes? No. We see some Virat Kohli or Sachin Tendulkar, somebody else on the road. That is, we were finding difficulty to detach our mind from our beloved object, our beloved sport. And so our soul, our heart is feeling that pangs of separation. And if our mind is completely detached from the present thing, and it is still more than 90%, it is thinking about the previous actions, what will happen? Accident will only take place. Instead of the Vivekananda Institute of Languages, you will go to Vivekananda Health Center. Isn't it? So, Swamiji is telling, the object may be how much beloved, how much our soul, our heart is running after it. We must have to reserve that kind of power with us, to detach from that. If we can achieve that kind of power, we can also excel in concentrating our mind on the desired object. It can be concentrated in such a way, in proportion to it is detached from the other things. That means when the mind is fully concentrated, fully focused on the desired object, it even can detach from its senses, surroundings, and several other mental blocks. It appears to be strange a little, but we have seen so many instances in our life also. When we are reading a book seriously, our family member might have called, but we cannot listen, isn't it? And several times, we sit in meditation, or we were reading a big book for several minutes or several hours. What happens? Suddenly we look at the clock. We do remember, at 2 o'clock I have started reading this book. But when you looked at the clock second time, it was 5 o'clock. That means what?